Welcome to the Lowdown on Ghana Web TV. This program was put together to bring you the hard facts and the truth behind all the relevant issues that are happening in the country. My name is Ni Akwe Ismail Akwe. Today we are crunching the numbers. We are looking at the Auditor-General report that's for the year ending 31st December 2020, and there are so many staggering numbers that need to be looked at, from the ministries to the municipal and district assemblies, where this report is giving us some numbers that need to be looked at. So we want to give you more information on these numbers, the debts, the misrepresentations, and then the monies that are supposed to be paid by the taxpayers to the state. We'll be back with some more crunching of numbers with our in-house analyst and head of political desk, Lord Harris Edu Asari. Welcome back to the Lowdown. My name is Ni Akwe Ismail Akwe. The report we are talking about is the 2020 audit report, which was released late last month and is already gone to Parliament for the Public Accounts Committee to have a look at it before it would be passed. And this budget has so many things in there that some have called outrageous, some have called staggering, others have called a waste and a loss to the state. This was prepared by the acting Auditor General Johnson Ekwamwa Esiedu on 11th June 2021. And today we're going to look at the Ministry of Education's budget, which was prepared or added to this year's budget. To do this, we have Lord Harris Edu Asari, our political or head of political desk and also political analyst. Lord, how is it looking?
This is baffling. Depending on where you are sitting and how you are looking at it, the numbers are just staggering. Let me just go straight to it, and then you get a picture of what we are looking at.
So that's the Ministry of Education.
The Ministry of Education. So Section 117 of the Income Tax Act 2015, Act 896, and over here I'm reading from the Auditor-General report. It requires a withholding agent to pay to the Commissioner General within 15 days after the end of each calendar month a tax that has been withheld in accordance with the division during the month. Now, they did it in such a way that they divided into findings and recommendations. And here, they found two district education officers that they made payments totaling 920,262 and withheld taxes to the tune of 9,202.62 pesos.
It's actually 9,202 cedis and 62 pesos.
62 pesos, yes. But they failed to remit the withheld amount to the GRA. Now, so the institutions here are the Adan East Education Service and Ningo Pram Education Service. If we look at the number of payment vouchers for the Adan East Education Service, they had 3, and the amount which equaled that was 5,778.82 pesos. And for Ningo Pram Education Service, it was 1 payment voucher which equaled 3,423.80 pesos. And when you sum it all, you get the 9,202.62. Now, the recommendation that the Auditor General put across was that the heads of the institutions are to ensure that the amounts withheld are immediately paid to the Ghana Revenue Authority to avoid payment of penalty and ensure prompt remittances of withheld taxes at all times. So that's one aspect. That's
so
one,
you know, the withholding tax is basically the state's money. It's not the money for any other person. It means it's been paid by the clients of the state, and it's not being given back to the state.
That's it. So you know the way this withhold taxes work. Before the, let's say, employer will pay you your, I'm just using this example, the salary, they take some parts of the money and then pay it as taxes. But in this case, you find out that after they made all these expenses, they didn't pay any of these taxes, and so this is how much they are owing. Now, another one that you can also look at is unsupported payments. And for this, a total of 1,016,755.36 pesos was disbursed by 14 officers under the Ghana Education Service during the period of audit. And they realized that they were not adequately supported with the relevant documents such as receipts, memos, invoices, and etc. Such a huge amount, and then from what the reports put out there, all these things were done without any documentation. So you have all these numbers there and nothing to show for it. And the report,
so over 1 million Ghana cedis.
For 1 million, that's
and
a huge
it
amount.
wasn't documented. And the audit service
no
found
paper,
these
like
out.
no paper trail, no
So
document to show what has been done, right? And the auditor says that we noted during our review of payment vouchers that, yeah, he put the figure out there. So these are the institutions that we are referring to. The offices are Ningo Pram Pram, Adan East, Joaso, Akim Begro, Tiase, Mpriso, Keta, Impasa. When you look at the numbers that correspond with it, for Ningo Pram Pram, it is 7,715 Ghana cedis. No documentation to show for it. Meanwhile, they issued 3 payment vouchers. And for Adan East, 90,821.91 pesos. For Joaso, 74,789.60 pesos. For Akim Begro, 43,894,000. For Tiase in the eastern region, they used 5 payment vouchers and it's equal to 76,575. In Paraiso, still in the eastern region, 4 payment vouchers, 90,400. Keta issued 30 payment vouchers and it equaled 47,915. Pasa in Oti region issued 10 payment vouchers, but that equaled 235,000. Again, another one still from Pasa, also 3,798.49 pesos. In Kwanta, 163,288.60 pesos. And Jirapa, in the Upper West, 53,870. Lambusi, in the Upper West, 38,499.20 pesos. Shidiem, in the Hafo region, they used 8 payment vouchers and it equaled 19,550. And Kwame Danso and Bono, they equaled 70,638.56 pesos. And when you sum all this up, you get the total of 1,016,755.36.
And about 4 of the offices do not even have payment vouchers at all. That's the Joaso, Jirapa, Lambusi, yes, and Kwame Danso in the Bono region.
Great.
So they don't have any PVs, and they are being recommended to recover the amount from the district heads and accountants. It means there's a possibility the money is gone.
They work together and then
through the accountants or even the district heads, because the money cannot be just missing, just like that.
For a large amount like that, it makes you
over 1 million Ghana cedis.
1 million Ghana cedis. We are talking about Yetisi Castle and all these things. And then there's the procurement irregularities that also accounted for 538,966. So here, Section 20 of the Public Procurement Amendment Act 2016, Act 914, requires procurement entities to request quotations from as many suppliers or contractors as practicable, but from at least 3 different sources that should not be related in terms of ownership, shareholding, or directorship, and the principles of conflict of interest shall apply between the procurement entities and their members.
So this was prepared by the state so that there wouldn't be any nepotism or any corruption in terms of procurement. That's when there's a need for any materials or anything by the government or any agency or company, the people go through this process to make sure they get it bought. So they would need 3 companies to show their
the more or less serve guarantors or the consent. So
yes, give quotations basically. Yes. So 3 quotations, and then 1 will be selected out of 4. And these people have violated these rules set out by the government.
Largely. And the institutions are the GES in Adan East, the Regional Education Service here in Accra, the GES in Senchi, GES in Lambusi, again, GES in Golu in Upper West. For Adan East, the amount was 209,762.49 pesos. For the Regional Education Office in Accra, 75,378. For Senchi, 44,501.41 pesos. Lambusi got 114,115.90 pesos. And for Golu in Upper West, 6,900. Tumu also got 88,308. And when in total this, they got the 538,965.80 pesos.
So this is barely half of the report on the Ministry of Education. And so far, we are hitting 2 million Ghana cedis of unaccounted funds.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about the unearned salaries and the others Right after this break, this is the Lowdown.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Lowdown. My name is Ni Akwe Ismail Akwe. We are crunching the numbers on the 2020 Audit Service report, which was recently released. And our focus is on the Ministry of Education. My guest is our head of political desk, Lord Aris Edu Asari. Lord, so we were going through some figures from the Ministry of Education.
Yeah.
We touched on procurement irregularities. We touched on unsupported
salaries.
payments,
Yeah.
and then failure to remit without taxes.
Exactly.
So now let's move to unearned salaries, where I can see a figure of 601,282. Could this be that those who are earning them are ghosts?
It seems the issue of ghost names seems to be popping up everywhere. It's really, some way that it's also found its way, reared its head in this regard as well. You have people retiring. Sometimes they may move on from this job, go to another place, or simply they pass on. And in this instance, the Auditor-General found that this amount, the total amount, the over 600,000, was made to people who they could not necessarily trace, right? So,
and some names have been listed.
yes.
I can see Benis Osekwe and four others. Nicholas Afram and 10 others. If you are listening, please go back and
do the needful
and declare yourselves as alive.
Yes.
If you are. Kwa Ovi Danso and 3 others. Amankwa Emmanuel and 7 others. Kwame Educhum and 2 others. And Suji Abo Ernest and 5 others.
Yeah.
And then Ayaya Johnson A and 25 others.
Yeah.
And all of them amount to 601,282.10 Ghana cedis, and there are institutions that they work for, the Ghana Library Authority, GES, Non-Formal Education Division, and then GES. Most of them GES, and they are in the various regions from the Greater Accra region, Ashanti, Eastern, Oti, Ahafo, Bono, Upper East, and you can see that on your screen, the figures there and also the names.
When you look at the figures that are associated with them, these are very large amounts. It means the salary was pretty good, don't you reckon?
Well, because their names are put there with others, so maybe we might say relatively
if
it's
you
not
do the breakdown,
that huge.
Okay. Now, let's go to the award of scholarships. But before we even go ahead, the recommendation was that the heads of these offices are to recover the total unearned salaries from the beneficiaries. So if they are unable to do that, it will be recovered from the heads themselves. So it means they have a daunting task. They need to make sure that these persons, Madam Benes, Kwaudanso and Co., pay back the monies that has been paid into their accounts. Otherwise, they are the ones who pay for it. When it goes to the award of scholarships, the total amount here is 225,235. You know how awards of scholarship, before you get a scholarship, you're supposed to present some certificates, documentations, ID, application letters and such before you are awarded. In this case, the Auditor-General says that they found that 3 district education officers disbursed a total of the 225,234.80 pesos to support students, but failed to provide evidence of the criteria of selection, such as proven academic performance, admission letters, students' ID, application letters, students' contacts and or address, student bills, among others, to authenticate the payments. And they further go down to give the breakdown of these figures. So for the District Education Directorate in Shrediem in the Ahafo region, a total of 40 students were given 36,699. But here the remark that the Auditor-General put across was that unconfirmed scholarship awards. So they know that these 40 students were given the scholarship, but you can't really tell how they got a scholarship because they can't find any student IDs, contacts, or certificates to back them up.
And you know, the surprising part of it is that there's free SHS.
Free SHS.
So if there's free SHS and we have a district education directorate in Shridium in the Afo region, giving 40 students a total sum of 36,699 Ghana cedis of unconfirmed scholarship awards.
Yeah, but
what scholarships are they for? Are they for university education?
That's
or
what
they are for secondary education?
That's what we don't know. Of course, we can't. Hopefully, it is not secondary education because per the government's policy, free SHS is working, so they shouldn't get anything like that. Maybe it's benefit of the doubt, right? We should say probably tertiary. But when you go to GS in Banda, it says 42 students. They were also given 105,000. And in this case, the remark was that non-transparent scholarship award, similar to that which was cited above. And then when you go to Tyne, the GS office in Tyne in Bono, over here, they can't even tell the number of students that got the scholarship. But then 83,535.80 pesos was given.
No.
And it makes you question what is going on here. Because if you can't even tell the number of people who have gotten this amount, and such a large amount has been attributed to it, it raises a lot of question marks. The recommendation here was that the district directors should provide the necessary documents from the beneficiary students, failing which the amount should be recovered from the district directors. That's also another thing here, and it's sad to some extent when you look at all these monies being expended and we can't really trace everything that is going on here.
I just would love to give commendation to the audit service because
For bringing this out.
Without these reports, it will be very hard to know how our monies are being spent. And you can see how they are unaccounted for.
Yeah.
And there are recommendations which we hope will be worked with, because if not, then we're going to have a problem. And Parliament is also doing a good job by inviting some of these district heads so that they would ask them to go back and look into their books and ensure that the monies are refunded or taken back.
Because the state needs them. We have public debts, which is over 60% of the GDP, and we are having loose monies like this, wondering we don't know how to trace them and such. That's really appalling. Now, when we go to the Free Senior High School Secretariat, we have misapplication of funds.
Oh.
And
that's a huge money there, I can see.
Almost 20 million.
19,217,802 million Ghana cedis.
That's high. That's high. And the Auditor-General says here that we noted during our review that between January 2019 and July 2019, a total of 19,217,802 received of free SHS to be utilized for various planned activities were rather advanced to 2 institutions without definite terms of recovery. As at the time of audit, which is March 2020, management had not recovered the amounts from the beneficiaries who are shown in the table, and then they draw it. So on the 9th of October, they provide the check number, and the beneficiaries was the National Council for Curriculum Assessments, Gallup. The activities that they were supposed to use the fund was for printing and supply of teacher resource packs, training guides, teacher resource supplementary, and curriculum framework. And you won't guess the amount: 14,700,872
Ghana cedis. That's quite a lot for printing materials and also training guides. And all of these are printed materials. And we are spending this, and it was signed with one check. Just a check.
Only one check.
Of 40,700,827 Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
That's quite huge.
Very huge.
And also the second check was to the Ghana Education Service for the second phase training workshop to support the implementation of the new pre-tertiary curriculum. And that amounted to 4,516,930 Ghana cedis. These are huge sums of money.
Yeah.
And are we seeing results? If indeed the money were used for what they were supposed to use
training workshop. 4 million for training workshop. Well, the recommendation here is that the management should ensure that the total amount of 19,217,802 advanced to the 2 organizations are paid back into the free SHS account. And this is something that we really should follow up and see how this turns out.
Because if they are asked to pay back, it means that indeed no activity has been seen.
But they use
because auditors are doing their job and they audit. Yeah. They need evidence to show that they've used the monies for the right things that they're saying. Yeah. But the monies have been used, even if we say, well, all the entire teacher body in the entire country is quite huge. That if you print booklets for them that has some teaching guides,
Yeah.
I don't think it will amount to 40 million Ghana cedis.
That's a huge
That's
amount.
huge.
That's huge.
And it could be used to build a school or even more.
A number of schools. So we go to the Metro Education Office in the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi. It says unaccounted laptops. Right, we have some MPs donating laptops during campaigning periods and things. But here, the auditor says that 41 laptops purported to have been issued by the storekeeper to the staff of Metro Education Service could not be traced in the ledger. Neither were they presented to the audit team for physical inspection when requested. So 42 laptops. All the details of these laptops weren't given. So we don't know whether they are, HP, Lenovo, and whatnot, and in what capacity it is. But 41
laptops.
rather.
Yes.
Pardon me. 41 were given, and they don't know where they went to. Right. The recommendation here is that the Metro Director should ensure that the beneficiary staff presents the 41 laptop for inspection by the audit team, failing which the current cost of the laptops should be recovered from the director.
So the director will be hot now. He has to buy 41 laptops.
Yeah.
And I think this problem is in almost all of the GES municipal or metro offices.
Yeah.
So you can see GES Akimoda has renovation work without certificate of satisfactory completion of 5,000 cedis. When you move to the district education office in Eninam, failure to withhold a tax of 5,750 Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
Then you move to payment by cash instead of check
This
of
was what got me.
65,000 cedis.
This is what got me. What's the highest amount of money you have seen in cash? This 65,000.
I'm not the right person you should ask.
65,000 cedis in cash. So I don't know whether it was. Well,
So they gave the money to a business center called Norinat Business Center for the procurement of 650 dual mono desk instead of check. So they're supposed to give check, they give cash. And you can't trace cash.
Yeah.
Check is used so that you could trace it easily and know how the money has been used. The recommendation here is that the director and the accountant should desist from practice and make all payments by checks or electronic transfer of funds to the bank accounts of suppliers and service providers. So they've not been asked to return the money or get the money back, but they've just been cautioned because
you can't make
maybe
payments.
the desk was seen, the auditor saw it, and everything was done right.
650.
But the problem was using cash
To make
instead
the
of
payments.
check.
Yeah.
Also, GES Krabua Kota,
Kota.
they paid with cash instead of check. Same problem here as well.
4,000. And
And then GES Manso Amenfi, they also had withholding tax not deducted or remitted of 3,749 cedis, unaccounted stores 57,589 Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
Then GES Asankregwa
Yeah.
abandoned ICT center.
This one really got to me because from the report, it was given, the ICC center was given by a philanthropist, right? And the Auditor-General says that it appears that it has been abandoned, right? It says, we noted during our audit inspection that a fully furnished ICT center at the directorate, which was provided by a philanthropist, Mr. Kofi Asante. This one, we really must apologize to Mr. Kofi Asante. It says it has been abandoned since 2013 and had been turned into a storeroom for the directorate. we watch videos of pupils or students not having ICT centers. You go to certain places where you have maybe 50 or 30 students with just one PC, computer, and you have a well-furnished ICT center abandoned and being used as a store.
By Mr. Kofi Asante. We thank you very much, Mr. Kofi Asante, and we are sorry as well because this is so sad.
Yeah.
And the recommendation to the district director is to ensure that the facility is used for its intended purpose without further delay.
Yeah.
And it's something we have to follow up on to see if indeed it's being used or not.
Another thing where we should also find out is whether it is still fully furnished, whether the things in there are still there or it's just being used as a store, as is being said. And this is also non-formal education division, still at Asankregwa. It says unaccounted motorbikes. So 15 motorbikes were given. It says here that Mr. Maxwell Jima, who is the acting coordinator, failed to account for 15 motorbikes from the inventory list of the division. The recommendation here is that Mr. Jima should be made to produce the 50 motorbikes or be surcharged with the current market values of the motorbikes plus interest at the prevailing Bank of Ghana rates.
This is so sad,
Yeah.
because you are in charge of a whole non-formal education division and 15 bikes are missing. Just like that.
I hope it's not for Okada business. I really hope
Just
so.
like that, it's gone. Well, I hope they'll follow up on that, and I'm
Yeah.
sure the Public Accounts Committee is going to hold him to task, and Parliament is not going to allow him to go free.
Now we go to the Enchi Municipal Office for GS. It says payment for goods not delivered, and it accounted for 40,000 Ghana cedis. It says here that our inspection of the supply of the dual desk at the school disclosed that the goods were never supplied. So prior to that, it says here that
So
the
Mr.
Enchi
Yes.
Municipal Office paid an amount of 40,000 from the MP's fund to Kwao Ebudu Woodworks for 200 dual desks to Jukwa MA Basic School, which had not been delivered. So it further says that the inspection for the supply of the dual desk at the school disclosed that the goods were never supplied, though store receipts advice number, and they put the number there, had been issued to that effect.
So the acting Auditor General is saying that the municipal director of education,
They made a
Mr.
payment.
Sebastian A. Diao, the accountant, Sylvester Ishan, the procurement officer, Mr. Amos Ado, and the internal auditor, Mr. Nicholas Asante, and the storekeeper should be held liable for the refund of 40,000 Ghana cedis plus interest at the prevailing Bank of Ghana rate. So there are more of these in Keta, where there's outstanding salary advance. There's also Jasikan GES, where there's unpresented general counterfoil receipt books. So they paid for the receipt books, it wasn't presented. GES Jasikan failure to withhold tax of 1,981 Ghana cedis. GES Nkunya misapplication of capitation grant 6,000 Ghana cedis. GES Pasa unaccounted revenue of 2,040 Ghana cedis. And then withdrawal of cash without payment voucher of 2,000 Ghana cedis. That's the Director General, or the District Director, sorry, Mr. Innocent Bediako, and the accountant, Mr. Edward K. Agaji, have been asked to refund the amount of 2,000 cedis into the sports account.
Now we go to Tumu. It says misapplication of sports and culture funds.
So there's a correlation with the GS in Pasa, where they also took the sports fund, and then in Tumu, sports fund. So it seems the sports fund is quite easy for people to just pick and misapply. And maybe we had coronavirus, at the time, so and there was no sports, so the money is there. They use it for other things, but still, it's not your money.
Maybe they didn't use it; they just put it aside for emergency purposes.
Or they'll refund it.
Hopefully, they will refund it. Then we go to Lambusi, and it says here unretired interest of 23,651. It's pretty long one. It says that the spending officer shall ensure that the standing imprest is fully retired by the end of financial year. A special imprest issued for making a particular payment or group of payments shall be fully retired within 10 days after completion of the activity. The unretired imprest shall be charged to the personal name of the principal spending officer or the holder of the imprest or the ultimate recipient of the imprest as appropriate. Now, contrary to the above regulation, management of the District Education Directorate granted a total imprest of 210,663 to officers to undertake various activities, but only 187,011.76 cedis was retired, leaving a balance of 23,651.24 unretired. And here the recommendation is that the district director should immediately recover the amount from the staff involved, failing which the amount should be treated as advances to them.
And then finally, the central region at GES Abra Asebu Kwamankese, where there was unpresented payment vouchers of 10,276 Ghana cedis. So you can see it on your screen where we have, they went against the regulation 82 of the Public Finance Management Regulations 2019, LI 2378, which requires that a payment by a covered entity shall be accompanied with a payment voucher authorized by the head of accounts and which is provided by the spending officer. Contrary to the above regulation, the accountant failed to provide 5 payment vouchers used in paying 10,276 Ghana cedis for audit scrutiny.
Yeah.
And they recommend that the director and accountant should refund the total amount of 10,276 Ghana cedis. So these are quite huge figures.
Interesting.
Depending on where you're coming from, because I understand some may say, oh, 2,000 cedis, or it's easy
money,
and all that, but it's not your money.
Yeah. No matter
Even
how
10
small it
cedis,
is.
that's theft.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they've been given the benefit of the doubt. That's why they've been asked to give some or return the money and all that. They're not losing their jobs as well, but they're asked to return the money because these normally happen. And there are so many of these from the other ministries, Ministry of Sports, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and we can't have all of these in one take, in one show, but we are going to stay on education in this edition. The next week, we are also going to look at other ministries, Ministry of Health especially, where we see some staggering numbers that are even worse than the Ministry of Education. This is the Lowdown. My name is Ni Akwe Ismail Akwe, and we just crunched the numbers on the 2020 Audit Service Report. We looked at the Ministry of Education. I did this with our head of political desk, Lord Harris Edu Asari. Lord, thank you very much for doing this with me. We'll do it again another time.
Certainly will.
Watch us every Monday on Ghana Web TV and all of Ghana Web's digital channels on Facebook and on YouTube. My name is Ni Akwe Ismail Akwe. This is the Lowdown. Be safe.